This program is brought to you by UCKG.
My name is Chandrika Carter. I was addicted to selling drugs and gambling. I used to go to state trafficking, and one time I came to my residence and I had a gun put to my head by the police and I went to jail. When I went to jail, I stood in jail for 2 weeks. I was facing 25 years to life.
After receiving a sentence of 25 years to life, Chandrika fell into a deep depression.
And I fell into a deep depression stage because I didn't know what to do. I had no one to turn to. I was facing 25 years to life. All the questions that was going through my mind was, who's going to take care of my kids? How I'm going to be here? How can I be this single mom and solely provide for them? And this is my outcome. I'm addicted to drugs, I'm selling drugs, but yet I'm facing 25 years. I had no family or friends. No one understood me.
Due to the depression, Chandrika became addicted to painkillers and drugs.
I started taking painkillers, and at first it would start off as 1 and 2, then it moved to 3 and 4. I was addicted to Percocets, Somas, I was taking Xanax. I was even smoking weed. Every once in a while I drank alcohol. And the hardest one for me to kick was painkillers because I was in a bad car accident, and my mind, I thought I needed it. My body craved for it. Even if you try to kick it, you'll throw up and go through bad withdrawals. And it was just, for years I was taking and taking. I had the addiction for a little over 2 years. First it started off as using it as doctor prescribed. With depression, I started taking more. Then it became recreational because everybody I knew was taking it. So even if I go clubbing or I go over to friend's house, it was always there. I didn't want the same thing for my kids. I knew something had to change. It was just a continuous cycle over and over and over and over again throughout my whole family. It was just continuing. My mom was addicted to alcohol. My dad was addicted to crack cocaine. So my grandmother raised me. But even with my grandmother raising me, everyone around me either used or sold drugs. Back then, when I had a problem, I didn't know how to face it. I didn't have the strength to face it. I ran from it. And drugs became my enabler. They made me feel nothing. Like I didn't think about my problems. I didn't think about anything. It was just a high, like it was an ultimate high. I didn't feel nothing. I became numb. I became numb to love. I became numb to being a mother, being a sister, a daughter, a person. I just felt like I was alone. When I first started coming to church, I'd come maybe once or twice a week. But my youngest daughter started coming 7 days a week. She was faithful with coming. And I was lacking because I had bad experiences with churches before where I was judged, what I wear, how we talk, and I'm like, okay, I don't know if this kind of church is, I'm going to be welcome. So I had my guards up when I first started coming to the church. And after about 2 months, my daughter started coming. She's like, Mom, you really need to come more. I started talking to the pastor and explained to him how I got into gambling and to drugs, and he told me to start coming to Friday and doing chains of prayer. So I started doing it, and I want to say about 8 months into the church, I just completely stopped everything. I got a job. I'm a supervisor. I have 13 employees under me. I don't even think about gambling now. I'm taking pills. It's gone. No more weed, no more pills, no more gambling. Nothing. I don't even have the urge for it. I know for sure, if it wasn't for Universal Church, I wouldn't be saved. My kids wouldn't, or my husband. We come to church faithfully now. I mean, we're not perfect, but we're working on this.
Welcome to your program, Problems and Solutions. A very good evening. It's a pleasure to be back with you in this special program of this Thursday, where you saw already people being free from one of the biggest problems that the world is facing, that is depression. You saw this person, how this person was and how the life of this person is today. And this proves that there are things that only God can do. There are things that only God can do. And I'm not saying that you should not go to the doctor or you should not search for someone that is professional. No, because all these people, doctors, nurses, professional people, they are made by God. God is the one that gives them the wisdom. But you need to understand, and you're going to agree with me, that there are things that not even a professional person can do, because there are things that only God can do. Because when you are facing a problem that is spiritual, that is deep inside of you, only God is able to solve. And that's why this person that you saw overcame their problems. And you're going to continue seeing more testimonies. If you want our help right now, either if you will watch me on the Opta or through our social media, you can be in contact with us, either through our telephone number, through text, or if you are on the social media, you can text us, you can go to our messenger and be in contact with us, and even our YouTube page. Doesn't matter your situation, doesn't matter your problem, you can overcome. Let's continue watching more testimonies of people that their lives has been turning around.
One issue that I used to really have was problems sleeping at night. For about 9 years straight, I would literally be having the same nightmare on and off, on and off. And it was a very weird but almost realistic nightmare. So it was like the area I would live in would morph into something different, and then I would end up being chased by black figures, like just running through my area. I would recognize like key spots of, where I lived in this nightmare. And so what would happen, for me to get to sleep, I would be rocking myself back and forth like my head, just so it would rock me to sleep. I couldn't sleep without music and the television on. So for me, it took me a very long time, and then before I knew it, I wouldn't know what time it is, and I have to wake up and I'm going to school. And this would happen for on and off 9 years. And for me, it was very difficult because it got to a point where I was so scared to walk through my area. And there was a particular part of this area where in the dream, I would literally be faced with this big black figure, and it would chase me all the way back home. So because of this part of the nightmare, I wouldn't be able to go to this particular area in my own area. I wouldn't be able to go through that place. I would take another route, the long way round, just so that I wouldn't go to that area. Even in the dream, it felt so real. It's like I could almost touch myself and feel like, but I would wake up and I would know that, oh, it was just a dream. And it would always end the same way. So for me, it was like, if it's almost kind of repetitive, it must be real. And there was even cases where I would sleepwalk. So I would go to the bathroom, I would turn the tap on, I would knock down the bike in the corridor, I would do many things, but be fully unconscious of what I'm doing. All these things I only knew because my mum would witness me doing it, or she would wake up and she would see that the bathroom had been run. Once, me and my mum, we went on holiday, and we obviously had to share the same bed. And I ended up beating her up in my sleep. So she woke up with scratches all over her, and she was like, "Louise, you just attacked me at night." And I was like, but I didn't know. I felt so guilty inside of me. I was like, I would never want to hurt my mum, even though we didn't really have a good relationship the way that I wanted it at that time. I never dreamt of even hurting her. So when I saw that, I felt like a monster. But even though it wasn't me, I just felt like a monster. And even at times I would have dreams of like pushing my mum down the stairs. It was terrible. So for me, it was like, I didn't want to sleep. So when I went to university, things got worse because, late night partying and you're up all night or you're studying. So you become restless. And for me, the only time I could sleep was during the day. I couldn't sleep at night. I couldn't. I'd be up maybe till 6 o'clock, knowing that I had lectures, but I couldn't sleep. And it got to a point where once I was so tired that I completely passed out during the day. I missed my lectures, I missed everything, I was gone. To a point where people were so worried they had to break into my room. And they broke into my room and I was still sleeping. And then they woke me up, they were like, "Louise, like, where have you been?" And I was just like, "I've just been sleeping." And for me, that was really one of the worst moments for me, because it was like anyone could have just come into my room and attacked me. I was so vulnerable, I didn't even know what to think. Thank goodness it was, people who were actually kind of looking after me in a sense. But for me, that was one of the worst moments, and that attacking my mum at night, because Again, I never would have intentionally ever wanted to harm her. But when I saw those cuts, it even hurt me personally, it did. There was nothing to tell me, oh, this is not right, this is not normal. It was just normality to me. It's only when I came to the church, I was coming to the Friday meetings where I understood that, okay, these nightmares, these things that I'm doing in my sleep, it's not me. And I started to understand the roots behind it. And it's funny because even as I started attending the Friday meetings, I had these nightmares again, they came up. But the funny thing is I remember the very last time I had this nightmare, because I remember I went that night just so kind of angry that all these years I had been experiencing it, and I finally understood what was behind it. So I remember doing like a very strong prayer on me saying, it's not gonna be no more. But that night I had the nightmare, but it ended differently. Because usually in the nightmare, I would run to my house, I would be dodging all these dark figures, but I would run to my house and the door would not close properly. It wouldn't close. So it was a thing where it was like, I would close the door behind me, but you could see outside. It was very strange. But this very last nightmare, I'll never forget, the door closed. And for me, it was like I woke up believing that I had been set free. I knew that that was the last time I was gonna have that nightmare, and I didn't have it again. I didn't have it again. So from then, I started to have more peaceful sleeps. I didn't have to rock myself. Even now, I'm at a point where if the light is on, I'm like, turn it off. Like, trust me, it doesn't take long for me to sleep at all. I sleep peacefully and probably sleep too much sometimes, but honestly, I don't have no more nightmares. I don't sleepwalk. I don't attack people in my sleep. I'm not scared to go through that area. I'm free, so yeah.
As these people overcame, you're going to overcome too. Yes, there is a way out for you. There is hope for you. So my dear friend, what you need to do now is not just rely on these stories, but to decide it from today on to write your own story. If you want our help, tomorrow Friday, we'll be here at the Universal Church fighting for your deliverance. You who have insomnia, depression, you who have blockages, you give one step forward, two behind, you have a problem in your family, problem in your marriage, doesn't matter what is going through in your life. For God, nothing is impossible. What we are presenting to you is the God of the impossibles. And if you want our help, you can come, and surely that by you place your feet here and receive the word of God, something great is going to take place in your life. Okay? If you want more information about the Universal Church in Sweden or all over the world, you can visit our website www.uckg.se. Tomorrow 7 p.m. especially, or either 10 o'clock in the morning, we'll be here ready to help you. Our address is Birger Jarlsgatan 106. We are near to the t-bana Tekniska, also 5 minutes away from Modern Plan. You are our guest to join us. Our services are in the morning at 10 o'clock or 7 p.m., but the doors of the Universal Church are open morning to evening. If you live near to Göteborg, we are there on Sunday, especially at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And the address is Ringögatan 13, Infart 7, near to Plan. For more information, you can visit our website to know more details about our addresses and also our times. And surely by you give your step of faith, because you need to do your part. Like these people that you saw the testimonies, they heard about miracles and they decide to do their part. And as they did their part, God did his part. Do your part. Do not wait. Do not let this year to pass. We are in the beginning of this year, and you can make this year of 2023 to be a great year for you, just by giving your first step. Your first step is the most important step, and is the one that is going to give you the courage, the strength for you to move forward. It was a pleasure to be with you. Tomorrow, Friday, we're going to come back with another program at 8 p.m. Have a wonderful night. May God bless you.
I'm not leaving this hospital until I know what's wrong with my daughter.
You want out? That's fine with me!
This program is brought to you by UCKG.